Tell him how I missed him every minute since he left. And I hug his neck, yeah, when I get where I'm going. There'll be us, so much work to do.
Thank you all for coming very much. We'll start this off with a small song, an illustrated song called Landslide. I took my love and I took it down. I'm out and I turned around. And I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills, and the landslide brought it down. A mirror in the sky of white love. Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle seasons of my life? Oh, I don't know. And I've been afraid of changing as I build my life around you. Time makes you older, and children get older, and I'm getting older too. And I've been afraid of changing as I build my life around you. Time makes you older, and even children get older, and I'm getting older too. I'm getting older too. Take my love and take it down, and climb that mountain and turn around. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, the landslide will bring you down. The landslide will bring you down.
Thank you very much. Welcome everybody to this celebration of the life of Rosario Ragni. And we particularly welcome members of Rosario's family. her mother Anita, her husband George, son Renato, who's just been playing and will play again at the end, Rosario's daughters Melanie and Anne, her sister Anna and her older sister Mimi, who was here with her husband Guillermo and daughter Mariana, and her cousin Mary. Our thoughts are very much with you as you bear your heavy loss. We're here to celebrate the life of a beautiful person, Rosario, a woman of dignity with that wonderful smile, a great readiness to help that touched everyone who knew her. For many members of the Jewish home family, her passing was like a light going out. But we look back on how her light shone so brightly on so many people and reflect on how fortunate we were to know her. I'm going to read the Psalm, Psalm 23, reflecting on God's presence in our lives and on faith that supports us when we are in a dark space. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And now I ask the first speaker.
Family, Rosario's family, and our family, Jewish home. When Kaya called me down that I went to her office with Ivana, they brought the news that what happened. I was in shock and I didn't know what to say. I asked my supervisor, my boss, permission to go back to my office. I just ran to my office and I closed the door and I started crying. I was calling her name. Why? She appears. I felt her in my office and we started having conversation. So this is our conversation with Rosario. Why are you crying, Perry? You know why, Rosario. My dear friend, you're not here anymore. I am here, and I'm free. I can be any places, anytime, in a second if I want to. Where did you go, Rosario? I went to my new world. Where? I cannot tell you much, but I tell you this much. If you see where I am now, you never cry or feel sad. It is beautiful. Rosario, why did you go? My mission was done. On the last breath, they told me. Who told you? The angels. The one they came to accompany me to my new life. It was easy, joyful ride with them. In a second, I entered to my new life and my new place. I cannot even describe it. How beautiful is it, and how beautiful was my ride from earth to here. You know, Ferry, we walk on the velvet green ground. We breathe fresh
My
flowers.
condolences to the family. On behalf of the Eisenberg Village, I bring the Eisenberg Village to you as well, and their condolences. And I can't stress what she just said. This is so true, that we don't know what's beyond and why, what's the plan, why we lost the ones that we love so much. But I can tell you there's more to it. There's more to it. She's here, she's hearing us, and I'm crying in my seat, and after listening to you, that is so true. There's no reason to cry, but it's our loss, and we're mourning for ourselves. But I see in her children and her family what she's left behind, and she lives in you. And we are blessed to be around you and exposed to you, and through you she lives. And we will be reminded of her every day through you. And, you know, this family grows and grows and continues to grow, and I'm pleased and sad to be part of this family, but these are the things that we do with family. We laugh together and we share sorrows together. And thank you for allowing me to be part of this family.
Rosario was a beautiful person, inside and out. Her reflection was of nice, warm, and calm person. She was understated. Rosario responded to requests with a smile. Nothing was a big deal. This is the way she approached life in general. It can be done. I can accomplish it. Always in a positive, calm manner. I knew Rosario for many years. I met her when she began working at the Jewish home in her early 20s. There was no task, no errand too small for her. This is how she treated her boss, which I knew very well. I was fortunate to participate in important events in her life, such as getting married and having her children. Regardless of what she encountered, she took life in strides. When she was diagnosed several years ago, she took the news in her own way. Rosario took her own approach, her own point of view to fit her personality and her beliefs. She believes in God. Though not sure she wanted conventional medicine, she decided to take the treatment, but at the same time support her program through a more holistic diet and exercise. Let's think back and remember how Rosario touched our life. She was physically active and she taught herself Zumba and became our Zumba instructor. Those around Rosario became part of her life. They shared her experience. Everyone loved her. They discovered the value and the values in her. Time with her family was always done with love for every member. At the beginning of the school year, when children needed uniform, Rosario shopped with them, not for them. She was very organized and mindful of her children, who were very close in age, at least the last four. And she treated each one of them as they are the only one and the most important one. Rosario touched our life in many different ways. But each one of us felt that we are the most important person in her life. This is not time for us to grieve her death, but it's time to celebrate her life. This is not a moment for us to shed our tears, but be thankful that we were given the chances to have known a woman named Rosario. She will forever live in my heart and our lives.
Definitely in the moments of love. In remembering her, we remember her grace, her kindness, her vitality, her passion, her calm, her commitment, and her love for her family, especially her children. We remember her teaching us to dance Zumba and how no one could keep up with her. We remember her bright smile and her willingness to help and participate in anything asked of her. We remember how she was always positive, refraining from negative commentary or complaints. Rosario was so committed to the Jewish home and always wanted things to be perfect. A few weeks ago, after she took a medical leave of absence to take care of herself and spend time with her family, she wanted to come in during the weekend to finish organizing our paperwork and to help Tony and I get ready for our Joint Commission survey. How silly of her, and yet how thoughtful and selfless to be so concerned about us and the success of the home. She was always taking care and showing concern for others, even in the final days of her life. Rosario, know that you made a huge difference and were a source of inspiration to so many people. Our hearts ache because we miss you. We miss your presence and your kindness and your love. In Judaism, we learn about mitzvahs, commandments, or good or praiseworthy deeds. And I challenge each and every one of us to take on doing one action or good deed in honor of Rosario. Perhaps in being more compassionate or patient with someone. Perhaps forgiving or asking someone to forgive us. By giving someone a kind or encouraging word or helping someone in need. We remember the love, and we remember that love is a gift from above. Rosario was a gift from up above, and we are grateful and blessed for the seasons and moments we shared with her. May you rest in peace, our dear friend, knowing your memory is for a blessing.
Hi, I'm Annie LeClaire, and I have the privilege to read a letter from Shelley Ryan. Rosario Charo, what a sweet and gentle wife, mother, sister, daughter, friend, and beloved member of our Jewish home family. She had a quiet strength that everyone around her relied on, and an easy laugh and a funny sense of humor. I always appreciated how she laughed at my jokes, even the ones that weren't very funny. Rosario was at the home several times in different roles. For some reason, this very sweet and gentle employee ended up working with some of our quieter and less vocal managers, like Dorothy Reed, like Haya Bersi, and like Tony Francesco. She had the ability to see the best in everyone and get along with anyone. She was someone I professionally relied on to ease uncomfortable situations and to give me a clear, objective feedback when I needed to hear it. Personally, she had that unique ability to make everyone feel as if they were her best friend. Her strength of character was steadfast and consistent. Her presence made a difference to those around her. When we introduced Zumba to the home, she quickly became the star. One day she told us she wanted to become a certified trainer and asked if we would let her run classes with our staff. We were thrilled, and her classes quickly became so popular. She was such an amazing place physically. No one had any idea how really ill she was. I was blessed to have talked with her shortly before she left us. She was at peace with her life, her legacy, and her faith. She was proud of her children and how she and Jorge had raised them. In a book of Proverbs, it tells us to train up a child in a way that they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. She took great comfort in the assurance that her children knew the true meaning of faith and love. She knew, although her life was ending too soon, that she had experienced a life full of great love, family, faith, and blessings. We will miss you, Charo. Your gentle nature and your sweet smile will always be remembered. I'm a better person just by knowing and loving you. May your wonderful memory and legacy bring peace to our broken hearts and remind us that today is a time to love and care for those around us. Missing you all so much. Please know my heart and love are with you. Love, Shelley. And on a personal note, we often say how long some of us have worked here. I've been at the home for 27 years. I didn't know when that sweet kid, and I do mean kid, walked into our lives as a nurse's aide, that she would make such an impact on so many of us. Shelley and I talked about how she had an old soul. She quickly rose to a position that required her to be extremely confidential, to secrets, to be supportive of managers that were under a great deal of stress, to be a confidant. It is now ironic and so like God to move in mysterious ways that I am blessed to have her son in my building. Ironic maybe, poetic, I think. He has her smile, he has her gifts. And as long as her children carry on, we're all going to be better for it.
It's a lot of pressure to join a team and the home to begin where someone who'd worked here for 31 years left off. And it isn't appropriate I follow Shelley Ryan now. It was a relief to walk the campuses and feel the warmth and welcoming nature of so many of you in this room and the rest of our employees who are not here. Rosario was one such employee. This is a person who, for all intents and purposes, could have maybe not been welcoming to me. Rosario may not have been inviting. She may have been unwelcoming and cold to me. But as you've heard and or personally witnessed, Rosario could and would never do that. It was not in her nature, for she didn't have a negative or mean bone in her body. I vividly recall meeting her that first week that I was here. She was wearing a navy blue top, very elegant looking. She gave me the widest grin and welcomed me home. Not to the home, not to the Los Angeles Jewish home, but home. That was significant on many levels. At the time, I had no idea she was related to many of you, or to my right hand, Anna, or how long she'd worked here. I knew nothing about her. I just knew that here was an incredibly special, sweet person who was welcoming to me. On that day, I'm not going to look at you, Anna. On that day, she welcomed me here and wished me well, going so far as to tell me to call her for anything I needed at any time, and I really felt that she meant that. That stuck with me that day, and it still does, and has every day since then. That was Rosario. She emulated our home's values in every action she took, every interaction she had with each and every one of us. This is even evident the week before she passed. I had been ill, at home resting and recovering, and Anna, who was with her, had told Rosario that I had been sick. And she shocked me on that Thursday morning and called me on my cell phone to check in on me. Here she was on hospice. She was very ill. She took time out of her respite to wish me a quick recovery. Showing concern for me was exactly the type of person she was. Love and care for others is how she lived every day. Rosario's quiet elegance, resounding heart, and strength live in each of us every day. May we take the lessons she silently and not so silently taught us, be her legacy and the blessing to us all. And I'd like to invite Anna Haro to come.
I have to hold this. Hi guys. So nice seeing you. I just wanted to be here and be with you because there's nothing I can tell you about my sister. I was never shy about showing her my love, and she was never shy in showing me her love. You know how much I care about her because she will see me with her every single day. Also, people said, you have to be very careful who you relate with because you are in HR. We didn't care. We were sisters and we loved each other. I can do this, Sherry. Do you want to come up here? I'm sorry, Mommy. I'm not gonna. My mom is here too. I wanted to be here because I wanted to thank each one of you. After my sister passed, I felt very empty. I'm shaking. I can't hold it. I felt very empty, and I wanted to be home. And to me, this is home. I wanted to be with you, and I couldn't wait. Sharon keeps saying, if you want to take a month off, you can do it. And I said, no, I want to be home. I want to be with you. I love you guys very much. I always knew that I love you, but all the love that you have shown me through all these beautiful days has been just amazing. May you always have all the love that I had with my sister close to you. And may you always love your relatives, your children, and everybody you have with you as much as I love my sister. Thank you for coming.
This is called God's garden. God looked around the garden and saw an empty space. He then looked down upon the earth and saw your tired face. He put his arms around you and lifted you to rest. God's garden must be beautiful, for he only takes the best. He saw the road was getting rough and the hills were hard to climb. So he closed your weary eyelids and whispered, peace be thine. It broke our hearts to lose you, but you did not go alone, for part of us went with you the day God called you home. And I know that a part of Rosario lives in each of us, and we will remember her light and her love forever.
This week and last week, our Bible readings in the synagogue were about the life of Abraham. Our tradition teaches that Abraham embodied the quality known in Hebrew as chesed, which is loving kindness, loyalty, giving, qualities that Rosario too embodied to the full. with her positive and optimistic nature, her smile, her enthusiasm, and above all, her giving. She was a beautiful person, a joy and an inspiration to us all. I'd like to finish with a prayer based on a memorial prayer from my own Jewish tradition. And I'd like to ask all of you, if you're able, please stand. Compassionate God, who dwells on high, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence to the soul of our dear Rosario, who has gone to her eternal home. We pray that she finds perfect peace in your tender embrace. May our memory of her inspire us to live out her fine qualities in our lives. That way she will live on through us. Let us all say, Amen. Please be seated. And Renato will now finish with more music on the guitar.
Oh, they want me to read you something in Spanish, right? Spanish? Okay. Queremos siempre, this is from them to everybody, queremos siempre que nuestros seres amados se queden con nosotros por siempre. Duele tanto cuando ese por siempre se acaba tan pronto. La ausencia de Rosario es enorme. De un momento a otro debemos aceptarlo sin previo aviso. Sabemos que el espíritu de Rosario no se ha ido, sino que vive en nuestros corazones, así como en el de tus seres queridos. Cuando amamos a alguien, ese alguien se convierte en una parte nuestra y con nosotros se queda mientras que sigamos recordándote. Guardaremos tus recuerdos y el tiempo que compartimos contigo. Recuerda que fuiste muy querida. Gracias por los momentos inolvidables, por compartir con nosotros un poco de tu vida, valentía, esfuerzo, alegría y amistad. This is from the Zumba class. Isn't that beautiful? Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. This concludes our service, but we invite you to punch and cake in Rosario's honor in the back. Thank you.
Pedrito Bello, ya no hay tarjeta de los